Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari, Shri Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the devotees are gathering for Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. Hare Krishna. And in Nabadwip, it sometimes takes a little time for the devotees to gather. So today also, a few minutes as the devotees come together, and we have Shuddha Krishna Prabhu with us, Priyanana Devi Dasi with us, Leela Sundar Prabhu, Lakshmi Priya Devi Dasi. Actually, we have many devotees, and I did see Scarlett just a little bit before. Scarlett, happy to have you with us. Hare Krishna. We're coming together, and this week or this time, this year, the Nabadwip Dham Parikrama, we are going to be led by Srila Bhaktivinod Goswami Maharaj from Chintamani Dham. And so just in a few moments, then we'll be in Chintamani Dham. And I saw just briefly just now Gupta Govardhan. And in Gupta Govardhan, the devotees also gathered. Oh my goodness, it's night there already. And for much of the world, it is early morning. Here it is early afternoon. Here means Italy. And in Gupta Govardhan, we see that it's evening time. And they're just getting the cameras ready in Chintamani Dham at near Gupta Govardhan in Thailand. Near means 1 hour by car. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari, Shri Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And now we have a glimpse of Srila Bhaktivinod Goswami Maharaj in Chintamani Dham, with Devendra Prabhu and Muktinath Prabhu looking after the controls, the technical side. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as devotees are gathering together, let me give my obeisances. I am here in service to you all, and to you all, headed by Srila Goswami Maharaj, our chief speaker today, our chief guide indeed. To visit the Dham, we need to be under the protection of the devotees. Hare Krishna. Yes, Dhananjaya Prabhu, my Dandavat. Shri Nabadwip Dham Parikrama ki jai. Govinda. And as they're getting set up in Thailand, Maharaj, do you have any instruction? Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Can you hear us?
Just as they're getting ready.
Maharaj, can you hear us?
Okay, back till today. Yes, we can hear you.
I see him. I want to see Madhusudan Maharaj, not myself.
Okay, we can hear Goswami Maharaj now.
All right, I see Gupta Govardhan. All right. And I was saying earlier that when you're there at the mat, and this comes, first of all, Srila Acharya Maharaj, I don't know when he slept, but at around 2:45 a.m., he would go on the PA system and say, "Good morning, pilgrims." You know, and the way they wake up everyone at the ashram mat is like this. They go, "Good morning, pilgrims." Anantadev, are we ready? Yes, sir. So I begin with the Vandanam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Parikrama Sri Guru Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahagana Vitam Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Krishna Badam Sahagana Lalitam Sri Vishakam Vitangsya Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanandana Salakaya Chaksu Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev. So we are told that the first Nabadwip Dham Parikrama was with Nityananda Prabhu and Jiva Goswami Prabhu. And after that, Narottam Thakur and Srinivas Acharya. And then in time, things, the center cannot hold, things fall apart. So for a long time, not. And the Krishna consciousness movement basically disintegrated and was rife with sahajiaism. Bhaktivinod Thakur accepted Totaram Das Babaji's analysis of 12, 13, 14 sahajia sampradayas. There are now maybe, hundreds. Counterfeit, imitation, spiritual substance. which for most people is fine, but not for the Shuddha Vaishnavas. But one thing I found appealing in reading the Bhagavad Gita as a teenager was that most religions, churches, they always say, like, this is the way, and we have a system that can never go off, and, you know, we've got this covered, and so you don't have to worry. We're always representing the supreme absolute truth in its fullest expression. But when I read the Bhagavad Gita, particularly the 4th chapter, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarsyo vidu sakalaneha yoga nashta parantapa. There's that word yoga. Yoga means link. That's why any so-called yoga that is not linking individual consciousness with the supreme consciousness is exercise. It may be very good exercise, very healthy, but not substantially yoga. Yoga means to establish that link. Yeah. And here in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna the link was broken. And I found that appealing, not discouraging. I thought, well, this sounds realistic. He's saying that from time to time it goes off. So it's covered. Because people think, no, we have our guru and he told us. And we've heard that so many times. Everybody says that. Every group says that. Every church says that. They all say that. But Krishna doesn't say that. And that's why we should listen to what he says. He says, from time to time, the truth becomes so far removed from what it was originally that it becomes falsity. And Bhaktivinod Thakur deals with that in his Bhagavad speech, where he says that, he says those very words, the truth is inevitably converted into error. And then you think, well, that's really discouraging. So we're like wasting our time because you're telling us that after a certain amount of time, it's just going to be rubbish. So why should we waste our time now? But Bhaktivinod Thakur says, no, because that is baked in the cake, so to speak, that means that new revelation is necessary to restore the truth to its former purity. So that's hopeful. And so Bhaktivinod Thakur, in that speech, he's writing in a style of Emerson, one of the American transcendentalists, whom Bhaktivinod Thakur read him. He knew what he was all about. It's there in his speech. So Emerson used to say, don't become a satellite, become a system. That's that, rugged individualism of America. Don't be a satellite, become a system. But Bhaktivinod Thakur very cleverly there says, a useful student is like a satellite, reflecting light from the original. He said, and then he talks about different levels, but he also mentions the truth is inevitably, invariably converted into error. So new revelation is continuously necessary to restore the truth to its former purity. But ironically, Emerson, who said, become a system, Bhaktivinod Thakur is a system. He's not a satellite. He's actually a system. So we are in the Bhaktivinod-paribar, right? According to Guru Maharaj, Srila Saraswati Thakur, we're in the Bhaktivinod, we aspire to be servants of the Bhaktivinod-paribar. That is our line. And in Guru Maharaj's poetry says, about in the upper world, Guna Manjari Gorima Guna Haribasana Bayanam. So he's saying, the leader of this group, the ultimate leader of this group that we aspire to serve. I won't say we belong to it, I say we are aspiring servitors. the leader is Bhaktivinod Thakur. He is not replaceable, or you say, no, but my guru is so-and-so. Your guru answers to Bhaktivinod Thakur. He is the absolute leader of this group, irreplaceable, accepted by Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, Gurudev. They all accept that Bhaktivinod Thakur is the leader. Kamala Manjari is the Yuteshwari of this group. And assisting are Guna Manjari, Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and Nayana Mani Manjari, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and their servitors, and on. But Bhaktivinod Thakur's position is not optional. He is the absolute leader of this group forever and ever. Amen. Can I get an amen from you? So that Bhaktivinod Thakur, we wouldn't be here having this discussion if not for him. He revived Dandavat Krishna Priyadiri Dharamsandra Prabhu Dandavat. Bhaktivinod Thakur, he revived the entire Krishna consciousness movement. What to speak of the Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. He started it again. Well, really Saraswati Thakur, but on the order of Bhaktivinod Thakur. So, and I'm reminded of when someone was probing Guru Maharaj and said, Saraswati Thakur, did he used to sing and dance like at the kirtan? And Guru Maharaj goes, Prabhupada? Sing and dance? Achintya. So who's leading the kirtan? Everyone is engaged in kirtan, harinam, everything under his direction. He's not singing and dancing. But Bilasatu Riddhi Nityam Bhakti Siddhanta Bani. But infusing others. I realized this when I got my 15 minutes of service to Srila Prabhupada, because I had heard that the Mahabhagavata is one upon whom seeing that the holy name of Krishna descends upon your tongue. And when I walked into that room to serve Srila Prabhupada, and he was alone, and I saw him, the holy name of Krishna descended upon my tongue, because I was in the presence of the highest type of Vaishnava, the Mahabhagavata. So Saraswati Thakur, Kripaya Hari Kirtana Murti Dharam. The Hari Kirtan Murti, you wouldn't see him singing or dancing, but everyone around him is singing and dancing. Being infused with the Hari Kirtan that's streaming from his heart. So, and on this point, we are, Kataganam Natya and the Krishna world, in the Brahma Sangita, says that there, all movement is dance, all speech is song. And Srila Guru Maharaj said that when movement is enhanced with beauty, it is dance. When speech is enhanced with beauty, it is song. Reality, the beautiful, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. So when they're on the Brajamandal Parikrama, we know devotees, it's a habit of theirs that they like to get the chappals of the Maharaj, So when the Maharaj comes out, his chappals, the sandals are waiting. And I'm not mocking that. The Guru Maharaj, they were doing it too. We think we're the only people who did certain things. They did it in Gaudiya Math. Someone wants to be the person who gets Saraswati Thakur's sandals. But actually, to be honest, leather shoes. He wore leather shoes, okay? I hope you don't think that disqualifies him from having substantial Krishna consciousness flowing in every atom of his being. He wore leather shoes. So someone grabs the leather shoes, and one time it was Guru Maharaj. So Srila Guru Maharaj is there, but he's holding them, waiting with them. And he said, Saraswati Thakur sees that it's Guru Maharaj holding his shoes, and he goes, and he just said, give them to me. And Guru Maharaj, I'm telling you what he said. he said those were the most beautiful words, sounds that he had ever heard. Who knows all the scripture, all the poetry of Rupa Goswami, everything. He said these were the most inconceivably beautiful words he'd ever heard, and his gesture was dance, and the words that came out of his mouth were song. So he said, although he was not seen overtly, openly, objectively to sing or dance, he said his every movement was dance, and every word that ever came out of his mouth was song, kirtan. He said, give them to me. Kripaya Hari Kirtana Murti Dharam. So Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur descended for a course correction of this sampradaya. And we see also, interestingly, one group that was very popular, they're called the Bauls, B-A-U-L-S. Baul means man. Like Ami ek batul tumi dvitiya. So, and they're the ones you see with the ektar, ching, ching, boom, and shh, the hand clackers, you know, and they're singing these songs, and they dance and twirl and smoke, you know, the fair share of ganja too. It enhances their movement and the experience that they're having, because it's not a divine experience, but to an untrained person, it appears to be externally. But anyway, and they're very popular. Different sahajias are most popular from time to time. Like whoever the best counterfeiters are, you want their bills, because you can probably find some unsuspecting dupe to dump them on. So they were very popular at the time. And so Bhaktivinod Thakur, so ever-merciful and generous, he writes these songs, a whole series of songs saying, I'm a Baul, I'm one of you. And it says all the code words that they would respond to. And then he says, but my brother, and then he makes a little suggestion like, leave this one thing, and this, and you see all the Gaudiya Siddhantas start streaming out. But first he appeals to them by saying, I'm one of you. Because the real truth is, a real Baul, batul, Ami ek batul, tumi dvitiya, he is a transcendental madman. So when he says, I'm one of you, it's not a joke. He is the real thing, they are not. Still, he wrote a series of songs to try and appeal to them, to course correct. But his main service, you could say, was course correcting the Rupanuga line from Mahaprabhu. That's why he say Chaitanya Saraswat means from Mahaprabhu to Saraswati Thakur and his followers. We should always remember that. It's from Mahaprabhu to Saraswati Thakur, the principal follower, promoter of the teachings of Bhaktivinod Thakur. That's the line. When everyone talks about Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, do not forget this. This is what it means, from Mahaprabhu to Saraswati Thakur. You go, no, I have my guru and he's... No, it's Mahaprabhu to Saraswati Thakur, Saraswata, and his followers. And that means Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, etc. But Guru Maharaj identified the line. It's going from Mahaprabhu to Srila Saraswati Thakur. And Guru Maharaj is not wrong. He can never be wrong about these things. Right? He's absolutely right. And he's saying that what the mat he established, this is its line of thought. The current is traced here. If one skips that, or sidesteps that, or marginalizes that, then evam parampara praptam imam rajarsyo vidu sakala neha mahata yogo nashta. The link is broken. And everyone who has a smartphone knows when the link is broken, your beautiful iPhone 14, in the future they go, what was that? What was an iPhone 14? We now have the 57. No. But your phone, your smart device is useless without the link. No, I mean, you can add and subtract on it, you can do other things. but the real substance that you were getting through it is no longer available. It's similar to that. So when the link is broken, and how is it broken? By substituting things other than what we heard from the founder Acharya of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. There is only, always, and only will be one founder Acharya of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, and that is Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami. That is not negotiable, his position as founder Acharya. He outlines the Mat conceptually. I've said the conceptual architecture of Chaitanya Saraswati Mat is in the Mat Pranam. Guru Maharaj very mercifully did that. So if you ever hear someone say something else or take it in another direction, then you remember Srimat Chaitanya Saraswata Mata Bara Udgita Kirtir Jayasrim Bibrat Sambati Ganga Tata Nikata Nabadwip Koladi Raje Yatra Sri Gaura Saraswata Nirata Goragata Grananti Nityam Rupanuga Sri Kritimati Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasha. That is the Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. There's only one founder Acharya, and that founder Acharya only had one successor, that is Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. After that, there may be many Acharyas, but they cannot modify or mutilate what Srila Guru Maharaj outlined as the substance of Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. The form, as a religious institution, or the Guru Maharaj has no interest in those things. When he announced to the leaders of ISKCON that he said, someone said, well, you know, we got to keep the mission together, and united we stand, divided we fall. And Guru Maharaj said, united for what? United for a bad thing, that's not good. And he said, I differ with you. When he did the famous, well, let's keep, you know, the mission, the worldwide mission, we've got to keep it, you know. Guru Maharaj said, I differ with you. The founder of Chaitanya Saraswati Mat said, I differ with those who say that the most important thing is to remain united and keep the worldwide mission as one. Guru Maharaj says, I differ with you. And then what does he say? I would rather be a form breaker if it's necessary for spiritual progress. Then hearing that, here's how things get lost in translation. A man jumped on a boat, crossed the Ganga, went back to ISKCON and said, Srila Sridhar Maharaj says he's a form breaker and he's come to break the form of ISKCON. Ah! It's like, one of those horror movies. That's how it was. Guru Maharaj said, I'd rather be a form breaker if it's necessary for spiritual progress. That became, he said he's a form breaker and he's come to break the form of ISKCON. Get the women and children and the horses in a circle. You know. That is Guru Maharaj. Read any page of his books. How can someone be the president Sevite Acharya of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat, who by his own admission says he's never read Guru Maharaj's books? That is absurd. That is absurd. Should I say it again? Okay. That is absurd. If someone told me that in your lifetime, the president, Sevite, Acharya of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat would be someone you'd never heard of, you'd never met, who would own the copyrights to all of the books you published, and by his own admission has never read any of them, I would say, you're joking. You can't be serious. So then people wonder, like, how does the line go off? No, but Gurudev said. So many Gurudevs said. When they go, Prabhupada said, you know what Guru Maharaj said? There are so many Prabhupads. That's what he said. He said, what is the specialty of your Prabhupada? And Guru Maharaj said, can I ask you a question? And they're like, yeah. the youngsters who were telling him what Bhaktisiddhanta wants. Not Srila Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta wanted ... Some 30-year-old jackass is telling Guru Maharaj what Bhaktisiddhanta wanted. The man that Srila Saraswati Thakur said is, carrying, it represents him fully, his line, is the Rupa Nugadara. Some 30-year-old jackass is telling Guru Maharaj what Bhaktisiddhanta wanted. And Guru Maharaj was sort of losing his patience. So then he said, can I ask you a question? And everyone, oh, sure. And Guru Maharaj said, what is Krishna consciousness? And one very clever devotee said, it's what Prabhupada taught us. That's what he said. And Guru Maharaj said, did he mention anything about Krishna? And then he said, it is reality. And it is in your interest to become acquainted with that reality. Oh, Maharaj, don't talk about reality. It scares people. You're scaring the devotees by talking about reality. Really. Guru Maharaj said, it is reality. Siddhanta is reality. Siddhanta, another word for Siddhanta is reality. It's not like, well, these guys, they're really into Siddhanta or something, but Gurudev said it's not important. No, it is Krishna. It is reality. The three pure devotees I know, they know a lot of slokas, don't they? I guess they're really into slokas. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev. For some reason, they've got this obsession with slokas. I wonder if it's healthy. Right? It is reality. Siddhanta means that. It means ultimate reality, actually. So, no, according to the dictionary, I thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, all right, put your dictionary away, okay? So Bhaktivinod Thakur, when Guru Maharaj went to Vrindavan and with Saraswati Thakur and the Brajamandal Parikrama, and Saraswati Thakur, he is always blowing his disciples' minds. Not just one or two times, like regularly, if not daily. So he does the whole circumambulation and goes, oh, I'm so unfortunate. I couldn't find a single Vaishnava. I just circumambulated the whole of Brajamandal and I couldn't find a single Vaishnava. This is the land of Krishna. Everybody here is a devotee. What is he talking about? And then they sound like, who's the number one devotee here right now? They go, oh, so-and-so Das Babaji. Oh, he's the one who, when he hears the name of Krishna, streams of tears come down his face and foam comes out of his mouth and his body quivers and trembles. So they offered up his name. What about so-and-so Babaji? Was Saraswati Thakur? Him? He's an infant class Vaishnava. Like he could have said Kanishta Adhikari, but I find it more, they say and write, prefer the specific to the general. He said an infant class Vaishnava, who everyone thinks is a Siddha Mahatma. So that tells you a few things. First of all, people are deceived easily by external displays of so-called devotion. So Srila Rupa Goswami warns about that in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Why would he say that in his book on the science of devotion if it was not something that happened or was going on? It's just like, and the Bible says, thou shalt not commit adultery, right? That means people who are committing adultery. The Quran says, do not have sex with your mother. That means The Vedas say, vacho vegam, ranasakra, control all your senses. So you can decide which one is higher and lower. on the basis of that sort of analysis, right? So, but the point I'm making is not that. That's another discussion. That is, if something is mentioned as a prohibition, then it means it's extant, it's going on. So you're being warned by the leader of the Manjaris, Rupa Manjari, who's descended as Rupa Goswami, writes the Science of Devotion, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and says many things, but in this regard, 2 things you should beware of: acting and sentimentalism. So I always mention the Stanislavski method for the Russian section. He's like the acting guru of the 20th century. And he will say, and I'm not criticizing Stanislavski, I'm actually using his method to make a point. He says, when all things are right and you do all the sense memory, this, that, and the other thing, it won't be like you're acting that you're someone. You will feel that you have become them. It's also called ahangropasana, self-worship, where, this is also mentioned, and Prabhupada talks about it too. Someone thinks they've become Mother Yasoda. They start off worshiping Mother Yasoda, and in the end think they've become Mother Yasoda. I know Avadu's laughing about this right now. Right? As many yogis, Prabhupada said, when they realize Paramatma, they think they are the Paramatma. So even actually having Paramatma darshan, you're not safe. Then they start thinking they are the Paramatma. So we say, there's, again, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Madhu Sneha, Grita Sneha. One type of Sneha, divine love, is like compared to ghee. That's Chandravali and her followers, and that is, I am yours. And we think, isn't that the right mentality? I am yours. And Rupa Goswami says, but higher than that is Madhu Sneha, you are mine. That is Radharani and Brajagopi's sentiment, that Krishna belongs to them. And I mentioned those girls in Vrindavan who assemble at Kali Hrad every day and sing songs about Krishna and the Kadamba tree and stealing the Gopi Jana Bastra and all. That these girls were so happy to see us there worshiping their Krishna. They believe they own Krishna, that he's theirs. The way anyone might, like Thai people might think of someone as theirs, and then when white people, Farang, like that, they go, oh, it makes them happy. Like, oh, you like this, that's ours. So they think, oh, you like Krishna? He's ours. That's our Krishna. Malanam, Ashanirninam, Nadabada, Srinam, Murtinam, Gopanam, Swajanam, Satam, Shadibunam, Shashta, Shapitro, Shishu. The coward men, when they go to Kamsa's arena, they're saying, that's our Krishna. He's from our hometown in Vrindavan. We got t-shirts, matching t-shirts for the event. It's our hometown boy. We're rooting for him. Come on, Krishna, you can take those guys. You and Balaram, you can take those thugs. So those girls are happy that we're worshiping their Krishna. That's Madhu Sneha. They believe Krishna belongs to them. So Rupa Goswami warning, saying, there's a type person can act, and we've seen in the movies, the actors, and they use Stanislavski's method, they call it sense memory. You remember there's something you can remember in your life that will make you cry, if you think about that thing. There's some moment, some event, if you think about it, it'll make you cry. So then they go, in this scene, the girl says, she's finished, you're never gonna see her again, and you start crying. So the guy conjures up that sense memory, and when they go, action, he's going, oh, no, don't leave me, oh God. They go, all right, could you do that again, but a little more slowly? The guy, yeah, sure. It's like that. Rupa Goswami is saying there are so-called devotees who are like that. 1 minute, it's Krishna now, and they're crying, and the tears are coming. And then the next minute, it's like, what's for lunch? Are there going to be gulab jamans? Are we going to trip over stuff on the way to lunch? So there's that. And then the other one is sentimentalism. He's saying, you may see someone crying, they hear about Krishna and they cry. But as I told someone the other day, I saw a Bud commercial that made me cry in 30 seconds. Because they're expert manipulators of sentiment. They hire the advertising agencies, go to the top schools in the US and elsewhere, to the psychology department. People have studied human emotions, emotional response, just like in music. You play a minor chord, sad. Major chord, this, like, you cannot help but respond a particular way when you hear certain sounds. So there are those who, they cry over just about anything and everything. Then when they're hearing about Krishna, they're also crying. Rupa Goswami is saying, those are not divine tears. So you think like, is this useful in your devotional life to hear these things? Are you ever going to find yourself in a situation where this might provide some guidance or help you analyze a certain situation? Yes. So Srila Guru Maharaj, he's in Vrindavan later. So Saraswati Thakur said, the number one Siddha Mahatma, Siddha Purush, everyone in Vrindavan obeisance to him, is an infant class Vaishnava. And he didn't go, that's what he said. He didn't go like, and let me explain. No explanation. Like Guru Maharaj said, if you have to ask why, it's not devotion. Vaishnava Maharaj, Sridhar Prabhu liked that very much. If you have to ask why, it's not devotion. Why did Gurudev praise Yudhamani Prabhu so much? He only says, do you want this or not? No explanation, just, do you want this or not? He said, that's devotion. Gurudev, you want this or you don't want it? I don't do it. You want it, I do it. And later I was telling that to Yudhamanu, and he goes, I only said that like once. I said, well, apparently it was enough, that it caught Gurudev's attention. So I'd like a glass of water, a small glass. Right? And just see, Guru Maharaj is very honest. And also, if you're not going to be honest, you're wasting your time in whatever you're doing, including Krishna consciousness. Of course, in Krishna consciousness, you can be dishonest and still accumulate sukriti. So I take that back. All right. Water everywhere, not a drop to drink. So, why didn't Guru Maharaj didn't say, and then we all said, Jai Prabhupada. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing myself. Took the words right out of my mouth. They're going like, what? I guess we'll talk about it later. So he's saying these things that are blowing their minds. He just said, the number one Vaishnava in Vrindavan is an infant class. Right. And Guru Maharaj is just very honest. He's saying like, I'm also trying to like digest this. It's not easy. Like, what does he mean when he says that? So somehow, I forget the days, the sequence, but Guru Maharaj wants to go see that person, to observe him. The one who I'm saying, he couldn't go to a Bhagavad recitation because he would just start crying, foaming at the mouth, body trembling. They have to like carry him out. So he goes to see him. There's like a group, and Guru Maharaj is in the back observing him. And he said, I'm observing him, and in my mind's eye, my heart's eye, I see my Guru Maharaj saying, infant class Vaishnava, infant class. And I'm observing him, infant class, observing infant class. And he said, they had one man on each side. When the foam, like he pulled the foam, the other guy wipes the tears, the foam, the tears, maybe they alternate a little bit. And he said it was like a show, a freak show. And all the people are there giving donations and taking dust. And Maharaj, you give your blessing, please. My wife's cousin's brother's never, please. They're doing all of that. And Guru Maharaj is sitting in the back observing. And he said, I came to this conclusion. And he's being generous. Because later the same man, Guru Maharaj, he told everyone he went into some divine region and came back with this mantra, Nitai Gaur Radhe Sham Hare Krishna Hare Ram, where he's saying, Nitai is Radha, Gaur is Sham. It's totally bogus. I'm even sorry that I mentioned it. But Guru is saying, he goes, what plane did he go to? If that's what he came back with. You know. But anyway, so Guru Maharaj is being generous. He's very generous. I'm not. I'm not Guru Maharaj. I'm not Gurudev. And he said, I'm thinking, like, he said, this gentleman, by his practices, he's trying to elevate himself to the higher domain. He's following, let's say he follows everything, he's reading the books of Rup, Sanatan, etc. He's doing all of these things with hopes of elevating himself to that higher domain. And Guru Maharaj said, our Guru Maharaj and Bhaktivinod Thakur descended from the plane that he has an aspiration to achieve. They came down from there to distribute something. That was Guru Maharaj's assessment. So that Bhaktivinod Thakur descended to correct the line, the Rupanuga line. And he only had 5 to 7 disciples. Guru Maharaj mentioned them. One was a scholar, one was a lady, this, that. And Guru Maharaj knows all those things. So 5 to 7 disciples. Guru Dham, Grantha Dham, Gaura Dham, Dham, Namadam, Uda, Bhakti Dham, Buddhi Dham, Bande, Bhaktivinod Dham, Uda. And what are his gifts? Everything that we have. Everything. All of our books, our songs, our Padyavali, really, Narottam and Bhaktivinod Thakur, and a smattering of others. So, all of our songs, he republishes Charitamritam, the Bhagavatams, Gita, everything. And all of his original works. Because I said the Guru Maharaj was saying, Bhaktivinod Thakur, his so-called life, like he's saying, you know, he is one of the followers of Ram Mohan Roy and the Brahmo, blah, blah, blah. The Bhagavad is his parting speech from them, saying, yeah, it's wonderful, the Western Savior, Jesus. He said, but I rather prefer the Eastern Savior, Gauranga, and for the following reasons. So that speech he gave was his bidding adieu to the Brahmo Samaj and Ram Mohan Roy, who slated Bhaktivinod Thakur as his successor. So I thought, well, that's not going to happen, after the talk. And so Bhaktivinod Thakur, he publishes all the books, writes all the songs, right? And then what does he do? He gets this inspiration. He's the magistrate in Krishna Nagar. He gets transferred out of Puri. When he's in Puri, he prays to Jagannath, but particularly to one deity, Bimala Devi, who we might think on a casual analysis is a mundane goddess, but she's one of the deities surrounding Jagannath. I would tread lightly in that domain, reserving judgment as a matter of infinite hope. So he makes some special prayer to Bimala Devi, and this one child appears, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whom he names Bimala Prasad, because he considers him her Prasad. That's the mercy of Bimala. I prayed to her, and this wonderful child came. But he transfers out of there, and he's saying in his final days, and he doesn't know the script. It's not scripted, like he knows the happy ending. He goes there, and on the way, so he's transferred to Krishna Nagar, and on the way, and he's in very poor health. He's thinking that he might not even survive the journey. He's prepared to leave the world. And on the way there, he stops at Tarakeshwar. And there he has this dream. I think Srila Acharya Maharaj established a temple there. He has this dream vision of Mayapur and the birthplace of Mahaprabhu and the city of the, all of these things. And but he's also like, what is that? You know, what am I seeing? It's not like he goes, oh, right, this is the part where I have the dream. What happens next? It's not like that. He's one interpreting, It's like a indication of a direction that he should pursue. So he's making his way to Krishna Nagar, and there, Hunters, that's the company name, Hunters Maps, some British company. They make really good maps, and like when people buy property, you know, you always get a map of your property and the surrounding properties and the area, and it says this is located here, longitude, latitude, and all that stuff, and you know. And so he's looking on the maps. Remember, he doesn't know. That's what I'm trying to say. It's unfolding. It's live. So he knows he had the dream and it's in this direction. That's all he knows. And he's looking on the maps for some kind of indication where it might be, the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. Because he just had a vision. It didn't say, use Google Map and draw. I'm giving you a pin. Just follow the pin. So he sees Hunter's maps and he sees this place, and it says, because it's written by British people, and it says Mayapur, Mayapur. And he's like, oh, I'm going to go to Mayapur and see what I can find there. And he's trying to find it and can't find it. I mean, the plot, you know, it's like dramatic tension is increasing. So, and there's some Muslim farmers. And you know any place called Mayapur? No. Allahu Akbar. And then one of them says like, well, there's this one place, it's a useless piece of land. We've tried to cultivate there. You can't grow anything there. The only thing that grows there is tulsi. So the place is useless. It's absolutely useless. We never go there. We've given up on that. It has no value whatsoever. All you can grow there is just a bunch of tulsi growing there. We've tried to chop it down, get rid of it, plant something else, and then tulsi comes out. Show me that place. And then he realized, oh my God, oh my Gauranga, Amar Gauranga. And so Guru Maharaj says, not to be overly confident in your own assessment of things. So did he think, hey, I'm Bhaktivinod Thakur, and this is in the script. This is where I find Mahaprabhu's birthplace. No. With all this up to this point, he still thinks, I need the Vaishnava Sarvabhauma, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. He is the most revered. He's actual Vaishnava, not infant class. He is an actual Siddha Mahatma, Siddha Purush, Vaishnava, the highest order. So he goes, and Jagannath Das Babaji at that time is over 100, hunchbacked, carried around in a rattan palki by his attendant. That's how they used to carry people up to Badrinath also, a rattan palki. It actually fits on the shoulders of a man, and the other person rides the other way, and you carry him around like that. So it's not unusual. Sounds very unusual to us. It was not. You might even have some. So really, that's how they carried older or wealthy people up to Badrinath. So they get Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, and he's physically challenged. He can't walk or anything. And when they get there, he jumps out of the rattan palki and leaps in the air, chanting, Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. He's leaping a meter off the ground, someone who can't walk. And Bhaktivinod Thakur says in the Kalyana Kalpataru that on one Ekadashi, like today's Ekadashi, that Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhaktivinod Thakur's like leading the kirtan. And Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj is at the kirtan. And so who are the other exalted souls? And during that kirtan, it's like one of Mahaprabhu's kirtans, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj starts experiencing varieties of ecstatic symptoms. And Bhaktivinod Thakur says, and by his mercy, he transferred all of that to all those in the kirtan, and they could no longer sing, they could no longer play kartals, they could no longer play, they were just choked, falling to the ground, shivering, quivering, and they couldn't say Krishna Nam, they couldn't play kartals, they're rolling on the ground, horripulating, and their bodies trembling. And Bhaktivinod Thakur said, we could understand it was Babaji Maharaj's mercy. So if you can believe that such souls existed, then welcome to the Krishna consciousness movement. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj certifies, verifies, this is in fact the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Dev. Bhaktivinod Thakur establishes deities there. And Bimala Prasad, he's in his own world, going on in his own way. I mean, it's the Bhaktivinod world, where Guru Dev says, attracted by the wealth of the melted heart of Bhaktivinod Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur descended, and that's how he got him to come down. Otherwise, why would he come? But he's so irresistibly drawn in attraction to the wealth and the melted heart of Bhaktivinod Thakur that he descended in his family. They're not father and son. It's not a bloodline. He's just drawn to him. Gaurkishore Das Babaji is drawn to him once they hear him talk Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Katha, saying like, if you're going in the mundane world, I'm going with you. Look for me. I'll be there. So the time comes, and it's not Hollywood. So he's getting older, he needs to transfer the seva, puja seva of the Yogpit and, where the neem tree is and the deities, Jagannath Misra, Sachi Mata, and others. And he says to Srila Saraswati Thakur, Bimala Prasad, you remember, he's a Bimala Prasad Brahmachari till his 40s. When he started Sri Gaudiya Math, he was around 44 years old. As an occupation, he used to tutor wealthy British. Imagine, he was tutoring their children. And Guru Maharaj said, with some, like pride, but which you're allowed, like, he showed him a letter that one lady, he had tutored her children, and she went back to England, she wrote back to England, and one of her friends, she said, there was this one Bengali gentleman who tutors our children, and he is a perfect European in every way. And Saraswati Thakur, see that? You see that letter? Read it yourself. She said that about me. So Guru Maharaj said, he didn't do the sadhu thing. He wasn't out like, hey, look at me, I'm a sadhu. I shit in a ditch. That was not his program. They had to carry around a wooden, you've seen them, the wooden toy is like a handle and you set it up. That's how, on the Brajamandal Parikrama, they carried that around for the person who wore the leather shoes, who Guru Maharaj described as Kripaya Hari Kirtana Murti Dharam. So, Bhaktivinod Thakur, Saraswati Thakur is doing like 3 lakhs of Krishna Nam a day, working on 1 billion in a month, And not like it's quantity produces quality. He's just irresistibly drawn to taking the name of, he can't stop taking the name of Krishna. He's not like forcing himself. So Bhaktivinod Thakur says, it's time to transfer the Seva Puja. And Saraswati Thakur said, not me. I have no interest in that. I thought, isn't he supposed to be like submissive, right? Shouldn't you be so, if Bhaktivinod Thakur asks you to do something, shouldn't you do it? Right? I mean, you don't say, no, I don't think so. But this is another group, the Guru Varga. Saraswati Thakur disobeyed his guru, Gaurkishore Das Babaji also, and I'll mention that in a minute. So Bhaktivinod Thakur says, oh, you've become a Nirvisheshvadi? The form of the Lord is too much trouble for you. And Saraswati Thakur said, well, now that you put it that way, what do you want me to do? I want you to do this, be in charge of Seva Puja in Mayapur. I'm like, yes, sir. So he takes it over, and he's living alone in what Guru Maharaj called the jungles of Mayapur, and really it was a jungle. It's not a euphemism. It's a jungle. We go there, and there are all these beautiful buildings built by ISKCON or Sri Gaudiya Math and its branches. That was not there. It was literally jungle. Jungli is a Bengali word. So he's there, and because Bhaktivinod, he had Shushir Kumar Ghosh and other leading people. Some of them are Mayavadis. They're sahajias. But he's like, who's going to do this? So they're the trustees who wrote Amar Gauranga, and they're the trustees. But then once he gets Saraswati Thakur to agree, it all shifts to him. And then he, in 1919 or something, found Sri Gaudiya Math. So he didn't do that till he was like 45 years old. So you think, what was he doing up to that point? All this internal culture, Nam Bhajan, etc. So he takes over the Seva Puja, and he's thinking, like the most important thing, Hari Kirtan, Krishna Kirtan. So he thinks, all right, I'm gonna, because beyond that, he's saying, maybe I'll make a mission and we'll have these Kirtan halls. And in the Kirtanat Mandir, we'll have Kirtan, a lecture, Hari Katha, Krishna Katha, and then more Kirtan, Prasadam distribution. That'll be the program. That's what he thought it's going to be. And then we're told a page of Charitamritam comes floating to him, and he picks it up. What does it say? Nam Sankirtan, Vaishnava Seva, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Bas, and Murti Shradaya Sevam. These 5 things, and you see them enshrined in the logo of Sri Gaudiya Math. Nam Sankirtan, but he will later say Kirtan means a fight, so it's not just counting beads. He called it that. These words, these things I'm saying, it sounds really sarcastic, when they come from him. When he's preaching to someone and the disciples going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, and Saraswati Thakur goes, stop making noise. I'm preaching. And what did that person have the audacity to say to him? You're making noise, I'm taking Krishna Nam. So we're not the first people to experience that kind of stuff. So anyway, Nam Sankirtan, Sadhu Sangha, and by that implies Vaishnava Seva. If there's no Seva, what kind of Sangha is that? Right? It's not real until there's Seva. Sadhu Sangha, put yourself under the guidance of Doshradha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, etc. Sadhu Sangha, Bhagavat Shravan, hear the Bhagavatam and hear from the Bhagavat. real Bhagwat person. We never were going to India. We were never going to visit holy places. We went to sit at the holy lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj. There are these devotees who pride themselves on the way they do things at the mat. Like they do the kirtan, they do that, like all these other. I have no idea about that because I was situated at the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj. He never mentioned it. What was going on downstairs, he never brought it up, except when one of our people was playing kartals too loud, he sent down someone to check them. But other than that, he didn't talk about how many times or whether you do this or all these things that devotees, they go, oh, at the mat they do this and at the mat they do that. And that's good. Let's go to the mat. Oh, Prabhu, let's go to the mat. That's fine. But I'm just saying, when I was at the lotus feet of Guru Maharaj, he didn't bring it up. And we're 30 meters away. He discussed many things, but not that. So I don't recall what was going on during that time because I wasn't there for that. I was there exclusively for him. Why would we stay in a place called Dum Dum Park? Who would want to stay in a place called Dum Dum Park? You know, Siddhanta Maharaj's brother, he has two brothers, like the good one and the not so good one. And so, you know, he writes a letter back, Siddhanta Maharaj, the worshipable Siddhanta Maharaj, and the guy's going, so Clay, what are you doing over there? And he goes, I take care of the Guru's dogs. I feed his dogs. You know, he's like a 50, 60-year-old man. His brother's going like, geez. And he writes him back a letter and he goes, you know, when I saw your return address was Dum Dum Park, that sort of said it all. So nobody in his right mind wants to stay in a place called Dum Dum Park. Although there's someone who go, well, the Dum Dum Bullet, let me tell you about it. It's very, you know, I know about it. Okay. But it's just ironic and, you know, conventional Anglitsky, American English. You know, you wouldn't want, where are you from? Dum Dum. No, I didn't say, what are you? I said, where are you from? Anyway, how long am I going to milk this cow? But, so why, and so Nabadwip is in, you know, 4 hours away or whatever. Why are we staying in Dum Dum Park at Teen Number Tank? You know, where there's a river of shit flowing by, literally. And on the river bank of the river of shit live rickshawwallas and their wives and family. That's where they live. Because once Avadut brought a whole bunch of Russian chocolate, what's it called? Kokanova, Casanova, Kornikova, something like that. Because that shop was right down the street from Kiselny. So he brought a whole bunch of this chocolate. Then everybody left. And I went into the room after Sergei Bedrov came, and there was on the shelf up there by the sand was a whole bunch of this chocolate. So I went outside and I distributed it to the rickshawwallas and their wives and children. They went insane. They were singing, dancing, and having, I mean, they went nuts, you know. But anyway, so why would you want to live there? You know, and where like Bhakti Lalita has a cough today that, you know, it sounds like Miles Davis. You know, from living there for 10 years, you know, sacrificing her, Jamuna Priya and the others. They live in a room above Gurudev, no AC. It's like an oven. Literally, like you could probably cook chapatis on the wall if you just slapped them on the wall. breathing 2.5 whatever particles day in, day out. No. But Gurudev, he would drive around in his car with the window down. And whenever anybody would say something, complain, he goes, Maharaj, he goes, I slept between two generators. You know, generator. And he goes, I would sleep between two generators. So don't tell me about discomfort and I've grown up around coal fires my whole life, and like, he rolls the window down when he drives, Madhusudan Maharaj drives him in the car in downtown Calcutta. So why would you be there? Especially if the book says Mathura Bas and Bhagavad, because the Mahabhagavata, because Srila Gurudev was there, that's why people literally put their lives on the line and said, you know what, if I'm gonna die, get sick, cancer, whatever it is, it'll be over this. Then I won't mind, it'll be for a good cause. Because I was at the lotus feet of Gurudev, serving him, bring it on. Okay, I'm ready for it. People who won't, you know, otherwise like, are very picky about what they will consume or not consume. Put it all on the line to be at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev. So he's the Mahabhagavata, and where he is a holy place. That's Mathura Vas. Says, and if you think I'm just on some kind of a trip, read the first canto of the Bhagavatam. Tirti kurbanti tirtani svanstakstena gadabrita. Tirtabhuti swayambhivo, I forget the first line. Bhavad bidha bhagavata tirtabhuti swayambhivo. Tirti kurbanti tirtani svantakstena gadabrita. Saying, oh Narada, devotees of your stature, create holy places. Where you go, where your lotus feet touch, or where you stay for a day or two, what to speak of a week, a month, that becomes a holy place. So Mathura Vas is achieved by residing in such a place or under the auspices of the higher Vaishnavas. That the embassy concept is that although it's ostensibly, objectively in another country, that building is considered the original country. So the American embassy in Chiang Mai is, when you're inside it, you're in America. Same thing with Russian, Chinese, whatever. When you're in the embassy, you're in your home country. No one can touch you. It's the laws of your home country. So that's why you have diplomatic immunity when you're inside the embassy. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that our temples are Vaikuntha embassies. So when you're in a temple, you know, what's the other word? Naham tishtami Vaikunte yoginam hridayena cha tat yatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti mad. Krishna says, I'm not in the hearts of the yogis. I'm not in Vaikuntha. Well, if he's not in Vaikuntha, where is he? And he says, yatra gayanti mad bhakta. Wherever my devotees, and that means especially the higher devotees, he's there. He cannot resist what it's not that they're just talking all this stuff and Krishna, I get it, that's Paramatma, I can hear everything you're saying. It's not like that. It's so irresistible, their heart flow, that he actually is there, like listening and nourishing them. Yet, and what did it say? Tushanti cha ramanti cha. Guru said, it's literally like eating a feast for the devotees who are engaged in Krishna, the higher devotees. They're feasting the way you eat this and then you eat that and you have some. He said, it's like that for them. And he went further, and I shouldn't even say it, but I will because it needs to be said at some point. So that's Tushanti. But then he says, Ramanti cha, they're experiencing erotic pleasure by doing this also. Let's not touch that. Just let it hang there and forget it. Forget I even said it, but it's Ramanti means that. They're experiencing erotic pleasure by engaging in Krishna Katha. and Gorkata and all those things. That's amazing. So when Saraswati Thakur sees and Murti Shradhaya Sevan, oh, deities also. The higher Vaishnavas do not do archan. They do bhajan. That's why Sanatana Goswami talks to Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan said, like, Sanatan, can you get some salt for these chapati balls? Sanatan, like, I look like a rich man, I've got salt. Then what happens? A salt barge breaks down outside of his place, Bhajan Kutir, and goes, all right, we got salt. Then after a while, Madan Mohan, Sanatan, what? I'm writing. Hey, I'm writing here. He's writing the Brihad Bhagavatamritam. For you, I'm doing it for, who's writing, you or me? One thing, can I ask a question? Sure, what? Can you get some ghee? God, when is this guy gonna stop? First it's the salt, now the ghee? That's not archan. Talking to deities. Either you're a sahajia, imitationist, or you're Sanatana Goswami, and it's the real thing. He's actually speaking to Madan Mohan and finding him somewhat annoying. In a very sweet way. So, but Saraswati Thakur really, because he doesn't need to worship a deity per se, but he realized, oh, I'm being told that'll be beneficial for everyone. Deity, and we see when the deities come, just like in Bila Govinda, now we have Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Gopinath Jiva. Then get so many services for everybody. That's what okay, for them, I get it. And all the deities have their own identity. They're not one and the same. They're same, but different. So one lady had a nice jewel, but she'd worn that. And she was wondering if she could give it to Radharani, because she'd worn it herself. And so Radharani appeared to her and said, yes, I want you to give that. But Radharani said, but not to any Radharani. To me, I am Radharani at the Bagh Bazaar, Gaudiya Mat, Gandharvika. You bring it to me, not another Radharani, but to me specifically. So it says the Mahaprabhu deity at Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, when another Mahaprabhu was in the corner, which Gurudev would do from time to time, the original Mahaprabhu on the altar told Gurudev that Mahaprabhu should have his own place. And so then Gurudev said, can you put a deity in a samadhi? But he always, whatever you think he's like just did himself, there's always precedent. Of senior Vaishnavas, he does the same thing. He consults with seniors and he knows what they did, the senior disciples of Srila Saraswati Thakur. And so he figures it out, what can be done. Then with full confidence, he put the Mahaprabhu deity in Guru Maharaj's samadhi. But he wondered first if you can do that. He didn't think, I'm Govinda Maharaj, I can do whatever I want. No, he thought, can I? And he thought this one, that. He thought many things, and then he concluded that yes, he could do that. So Saraswati Thakur established Sri Gaudiya Mat and reinstituted the Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. And you see him, I wish I had the picture, with all of he's there, and there are all the devotees and the mridanga players. We'll show it tomorrow night. It's probably in here somewhere. And so they would do that every year. And then Srila Guru Maharaj, together with the disciple Goswami Maharaj And Jajavar Maharaj, some others, they formed their own Parikrama party. And they continue this tradition. Srila Gurudev continued it, and we're trying to continue it now. Now I'd like to hear something from Srila Madhusudan Maharaj. If he's still there.
Yes, Maharaj. Excuse me. I was unable to open the microphone. I'm here,
okay.
Maharaj, and with my obeisances to your holiness, my obeisances to all the devotees. Well, Maharaj, we definitely started our online Nabadwip Dham Parikrama with the focus on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and on Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our Guru Parampara, and starting what is Nabadwip Dham Parikrama all about. It is about the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his gift. So Maharaj, really, everything you have given us by this beginning part, the foundation of our Parikrama, and the first day of Parikrama in the time of Srila Gurudev was always to come to Antadip, to Mayapur, and this will be the beginning day each year. And as we are this year, most years, it is on the Ekadashi day, which is the 4 days before the Gaurapanima. This would be when our first going out, like walking Parikrama would take place. So many aspects of Nabadwip Dham Parikrama, but the main part is to give the focus to Mahaprabhu, his teachings, and those who have revealed the Dham, and those who've revealed the places in the Dham, and Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. So Maharaj, really, you have given us the lion's share, the lion's understanding of the substance of the Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. We started today here, and Maharaj, I'm here to serve. I'm the one who helps the devotees find their way to the different places and helps the devotees when they come back to get their accommodation and everything else. And Maharaj, if I'm able to be of service to you and to the devotees, here I am, happily. Where is Maharaj? Maharaj, come back. Did Maharaj go? Okay, well, I'm seated with you all here in the evening in Chiang Mai.
But shortly, perhaps you can lead the devotees. You can start the parikrama, and we can sing. How many Mahamantra are we going to sing?
Prabhu, that's Paramananda who was speaking, I understand, off camera. We've already started the parikrama. We've come to Antadip, to Mayapur. We've come to the focus of what is our parikrama, which is the yoga pit. Actually, the yoga pit is really where we begin the parikrama. Of course, we start from our temple because that is our base camp, if you like. And I expect that tomorrow we will be giving some focus upon our temple, because tomorrow in the calendar generally, then we will be going to Koladip on the second day of the parikrama. And Koladip is where is Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. So already we are there, and we've managed to come straight from the post, what did they say? Straight from the opening of the gate, we've come straight to the very center of the 9 islands of Navadip, and Antadip being the central island of which the 8 petals are surrounding it. The 8 petals being the other islands, which you are able to say. Simantadip, Godrumdip, Madhyadip, Koladip, Ritudip, Janudip, Modadrumadip, Rudradip, and then the 9th island, Antadip, in the center. And as far as now, Paramananda was asking me to start the kirtan to lead us out on parikrama. We're already out on parikrama, and I think we did a blink of an eye beginning to get us from Chaitanya Saraswati Mat to be at Yoga Pit and to be in that central area of Nabadwip. And because we're on Zoom, we can do that. In fact, because we're on Zoom, we did do that. We've started there. And this is where also the Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya begins with the Parikrama beginning at Mahaprabhu's house, the house of Sachi Mata. So in Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Goswami Maharaj is giving us the whole substance of what we are doing, our Krishna consciousness, which is Gauranga consciousness, and the biggest festival of the year in Nabadwip and established at our mat is indeed Gaura Purnima and this Nabadwip Dham Parikrama. And biggest festival because we need to be Gauranga conscious. We have so many examples of great souls, great sages, and of the Lord's teachings from previous eras. But this is the era of Mahaprabhu. And so the foundation from the thousands of years of preparation, if you like, now the world is ready for Mahaprabhu's teachings, and Mahaprabhu, he appeared in Mayapur, appeared at Antadip, appeared at Yogapit. And so here we've been already present and hearing these topics. So I think now some time for some kirtan, and it looks to me like Srila Goswami Maharaj is ready for some kirtan with his gong, and I know he's got some actual bell metal cartels there, which are difficult to find in this present age, but are distinctively sweet. Maharaj, back to Chinmoy Dham.
Been elevated to a particular position. We were told, Mahaprabhu wants to give everyone a chance. So be right. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Madhusudan.
Jai Shri Nabadwip Dham Parikrama ki Jai. Jai Saprika Shishi Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Ju ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai. And Jai, because we're here in Italy, Jai Saprika Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhavika Gopinath Ju ki Jai. And Jai Shri Giriraj Balagopal Ju ki Jai. Jai Shri Nabadwip Dham ki Jai. Jai Saparika Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ju in Nabadwip Chaitanya Saraswati Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shri Yogapit ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rokha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchitananda Bhaktivinod Thakur ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vanda ki jai. Shri Vishwarenya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Shri Nabadwip Dham Mahatmya ki jai. And Shri Nabadwip Bhavataranga ki jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Sudev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.
Jai Srila Bhakti Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Jai Maharaj. So, and we'll join again tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock Chiang Mai, Thailand time. Hare Krishna.
Indeed, Maha. Hare Krishna. Have a good evening, everybody.